Hi everyone, so my name is Zach Vines, and what we're looking at today is just a brief overview on how to calculate a payback period. You're going to see it's a very simple concept at a high level. There are just certain examples that aren't necessarily as straightforward as other ones. So let's kind of start off getting the foundation of what's going on, start with a basic example, then segue into something you might see a bit more commonly in your finance classes or whenever you might have to calculate your payback period. So the point of a payback period is to ask, how long does it take to make your money back? So we have some sort of investment we're making where we pay a certain amount on the front end, and we hope that over a certain period of time after we make that investment, we bring some money in. We make that money back and hopefully make a profit off of it. You know, there are various analyses we can do as far as like the rate of return we get, how that compares to our required rate of return, and all kinds of other capital budgeting items. But if we're just talking about payback period, it's literally just saying we're counting our dollar bills, we put some money out there, we bought something to make this investment happen, then we bring in money over the next few years, and we're just seeing whenever we break even, whenever we zero out, whenever we make our initial investment back. So the pros about this method is that it's really easy to understand. You can tell someone, you know, we made our money back in 3 years, and they get the point that it only took 3 years for you to turn a break-even point on this investment. The cons, however, is that it doesn't take the time value of money into account. So all we're really doing here are counting the dollar bills we're going to get in those respective years. But you know, the concept of the time value of money is basically entailing the fact that the power of your dollar tends to go down over time, that $1 can afford less than what it could several years ago. You know, the example I give students when they're first learning about that is think about what $1 could get you in gallons of gas in the 50s versus now. You probably get several gallons of gas back then versus not being able to get 1 gallon of gas now. So the power goes down over time. We're not taking that into account here. There does exist something called a discounted payback period where you just present value the cash flows, and that does take into account the time value of money. But just to make this quick and just talk about the straightforward payback period, doesn't take time value of money into account. So let's look at a basic example. So you can see that we have a period of 4 years right there. We're at year 0, pretty much meaning today. We spend $5,000, hence the negative $5,000 right there. So the payback period is just me wondering, how many years does it take for me to get that $5,000 back? So what I do, so here's all the information, the basic example right below it is the worked out portion of it. So at year 0, I'm sitting in the hole at negative $5,000. Well, 1 year goes by and I earn another $2,000. So I add $2,000 to the negative $5,000, and now as of year 1, I'm sitting in the hole of $3,000. I'm at negative 3 instead of negative 5. Well, another year goes by and I earn $1,000. Well, negative 3,000 plus 1,000 puts me at negative 2,000 as of year 2. And at that point, you can see this is a pretty simple problem because it nice and cleanly translates to a whole number. I earn exactly the amount that I need to break even in year 3. I'm in the hole by 2,000. I earn exactly 2,000 at that point. So as of year 3, I'm zeroed out. So my payback period was 3 years because it took 3 years for me to make that $5,000 back. So an example you might see a little bit more commonly where it doesn't perfectly end up being an exact number of years or an exact time period that you make your money back will be something like this. It's going to be pretty much the same procedure except for one step at the very end. So we have this new information where we have the year 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and the cash flows associated. So as of right now, at point 0, we're in the hole by $7,500. That's how much we had to pay to start this investment. In year 1, we earn $1,350. So I add that to my negative $7,500, and now I'm in the hole at the end of year 1, or as of year 1, $6,150. So the next year I earn $3,820. So I take the $3,820 into account, add it to where I'm sitting at as far as making my money back goes at that point in time, and I'm going to be at negative $2,330 at that point in time. So you can see that as of year 2, when I'm sitting at year 2 after having taken into account this $3,820, I only need to recover another $2,330 for me to break even. So if we try to do the same thing going into year 3, you can see we'd be doing $2,700. Well, it looks like by the end of year 3, by the time we take year 3's cash flow into account, we've made more than that $2,330, assuming we make it kind of evenly throughout the year and everything. It's sometime within that year that we earn the rest of that $2,330 right there. So we're not going to take into account a full third year, but a fraction of it. What fraction of it? Well, if all I need is 2330 and what year 3 would provide me is 2700, then the portion in the year where you finally get to that 2330 mark, kind of don't care about the rest as far as the payback period is concerned. You take what you have left before you're paid back, divide by what you're going to get in year 3, or at least for the year in question, depending on what problem you're in, and that gives you the fraction of the year of when you get that 2330 back. So 0.863 is the fraction of that third year that we're going to use. So it took the first full 2 years into account, so hence the +2 right here, plus 0.863 of the third year. So you combine the two, and your payback period is going to be 2.863. So you can see overall, it's very easy to understand. That's one of the main pros about the payback period. It's just really a matter of understanding this fraction and how to deal with that right there, because hardly ever do we have a situation where it takes a very perfect amount of time for us to make our money back. It's going to be some fraction of the year like that. But I hope that gives you a good framework for how to solve your payback periods. So thank you for watching, and I hope that helped.